A room, 5 people, 2 married and divorcing, 2 lovers of 6 years just broken up, the 5th watching his own marriage collapse. None can leave. They are the biggest band in the world, here to make their next album, and the only thing they have to write about is each other. This is the room where Rumours was made. Sausalito, 1976. Fleetwood Mac had spent 18 months becoming famous, and every relationship inside the band had ended at once. Now the 5 of them had to sit in a studio night after night and turn their heartbreak into songs. And they did not do it politely. Lindsey wrote a song telling Stevie to go her own way. Stevie wrote one back. Christine wrote one for the husband she was divorcing, then made him play bass on it. Rumours came out in 1977 and has sold over 40 million copies. Every song is a real message, from one person to another standing 6 feet away. The producer said making it was like counseling 4 divorcing couples who had to harmonize. Lindsey arranged Stevie's songs about their breakup. Stevie sang on his song about leaving her. Nobody walked out. That is the part nobody can explain. There is a reason it still connects 50 years later. The pain is completely real. When Stevie sings Dreams, she is not acting. She is singing to the man who just broke her heart, and he is playing guitar on the track. We are going through this album song by song, wound by wound. If you want the real story behind the music, hit that like button now. It helps this reach more people who feel the same way. Because Rumours is not about love. It is about what you do when the love is over and you still have to show up to work. So, what had these 5 just done to each other? Start with Lindsey Buckingham, 26, and he had just lost the relationship that defined his whole adult life. He and Stevie had been together since they were teenagers. The moment they finally succeeded, she ended it. He put the fury into a song. Go Your Own Way is the angriest song on the album. Stevie said one line was a lie and begged him to cut it. He refused. Then she had to stand at the mic and sing harmony on the chorus of the song, attacking her. Stevie said performing it for decades was like reliving the worst thing anyone ever said about her, every night while smiling. She hated the song. She also knew it was a masterpiece. Lindsey was becoming the band's producer, arranging every vocal, so the man Stevie had just left was in control of how her heartbreak reached the world. He arranged her songs about him. Think about that. Stevie writes a song about their breakup, and Lindsey decides which take is used, where the harmony goes. He is editing her account of their own relationship, and she lets him because the band matters more than the war. This ran through the whole album. Devastation on one side, total professionalism on the other. They fought all day and recorded all night, said unforgivable things, then harmonized perfectly 30 minutes later. Sessions ran 16 hours at a stretch, fueled by cocaine and exhaustion. The drugs were how 5 people stayed awake long enough to keep working through the wreckage. Lindsey had fired the first shot. Stevie's reply became the only #1 single Fleetwood Mac ever had. Stevie wrote Dreams in about 10 minutes, alone in a side room with a black velvet bed. With a Fender Rhodes and a cassette recorder, she wrote the calmest, saddest breakup song ever put to tape. Where Go Your Own Way is furious, Dreams is devastatingly calm. She does not attack him. She tells him the truth. He wanted freedom, he has it, and loneliness will teach him what he lost. It is not an insult, it is a diagnosis. She played it for the band. And here is the moment that defines the album. Lindsey, the man being told he'll be lonely without her, instead of being wounded, heard how to make it better. He made his ex-girlfriend's song about leaving him more beautiful. The 2 songs are in conversation. The same breakup from both sides recorded in the same weeks. One is a shout, one is a whisper. Together, they are the most honest portrait of a breakup in pop history because both got to speak and neither was lying. Dreams went to #1, the only Fleetwood Mac song ever to do so. Their biggest commercial moment was Stevie singing with total composure about her breakup with the man playing guitar beside her. In 2020, Dreams returned to the charts when a man filmed himself skateboarding to it. A 43-year-old song about private heartbreak became the sound of a stranger's calm online. The song refused to stay in the past. If you want the rest of the series the moment it goes up, subscribe now. The final volume is not the ending you would expect. Lindsey had his song, Stevie had hers, but a third songwriter turned Rumours from a breakup album into something the whole world could sing along to. Christine McVie was the quiet one. While Lindsey and Stevie waged their war in public, she was ending an 8-year marriage to John McVie, the bass player. They had stopped speaking, and she did not write an angry song. She wrote a hopeful one. Don't Stop is encouragement written to the husband she was divorcing. Don't look back, it will be all right. And John McVie played bass on it, the bass line for his ex-wife's song about moving on from him, because that was the job. Think about the discipline that took two people who could barely look at each other recording a goodbye to their marriage together until it was perfect. Don't Stop later became a presidential campaign theme. Christine also wrote You Make Loving Fun about her new relationship and told John it was about her dog, so he'd play on it. He found out later he played it anyway. Everyone on Rumours was playing on songs about their own betrayals. And then there is The Chain, the only song credited to all 5, stitched together from fragments the way the band was stitched from wreckage. It is a song about being bound to people you can no longer love, which is exactly what they were. The famous bass line near the end is John McVie, the man whose marriage had just ended, holding the song together. The Chain is the only song they've never dropped in nearly 50 years. It is about being unable to leave, and they never have. They describe the chain as a promise and a curse at once. The lyric swears they'll never break the chain, and they never quite did. They divorced, fought, reunited, fell out again. But the chain held. It is still holding. Rumours was finished in late 1976. 5 people had turned the worst year of their lives into 11 songs. Now they had to find out whether the world wanted to hear a band destroying itself in harmony. Rumours came out in February 1977. #1 for 31 weeks. Album of the year. Over 40 million copies, and every generation finds it again, because every generation has its own version of the room where the love ended and the work continued. They toured it through 1977, playing these songs about each other, to each other, every night. Every concert was a reenactment of the divorce that made the album. They were miserable, and they were the biggest band in the world at the same time. Mick said the success was almost unbearable because it was built on so much private pain. They had traded their relationships for the album, and the album had won. Was it worth it? Christine said the music was worth more than their personal lives as a woman who lost a marriage to make a record. Stevie has spent 50 years singing these songs to Lindsey. Whatever they lost, they never got back. What they got was Rumours, and maybe that is why it has never gone away. Most breakup records are one person's side. Rumours is all of it, from every person in the room, recorded as it happened, with no one able to lie because everyone they'd lie about was right there. Peter Green built this band and gave it away. Kerwin and Spencer were destroyed by it. Welch and Christine kept it alive. Then 5 people who had just broken each other's hearts turned all that suffering into one of the most beloved records ever pressed. That is the whole arc of Fleetwood Mac. Rumours is the sound of people choosing the work over the love and living with it forever. You can hear it in every harmony. 5 voices that fit perfectly, sung by 5 people who could no longer stand each other, and did it anyway because the song was bigger than the pain. This is the Fleetwood Mac Files, Vol.4. Rumours, the masterpiece made from heartbreak. In the final volume, what happened after the biggest album of their lives nearly finished them for good. If this story meant something to you, like the video and subscribe. We do this every day.